3, 2, 1. Welcome to the podcast. This is the East Roast Podcast. I'm Tony, and I'm here, as always, with my partner, Chris Cotton.
What's up, man? Yeah, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button. East Roast Podcast, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those social media. So many ways of following people now. Remember the good old days we had to actually follow somebody?
Yeah.
Do it, but, you know what I mean? Had to get out your car.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
really follow them.
And then law enforcement got involved. And
Got weird. You know what I mean?
I actually remember the days when you wanted to find your friends, you had to, nobody had cell phones or anything like that. It's like if your friends left and you were late, that was it. They're gone. You might as well just go home.
Get some sleep. Right.
Hey, listen, before we get started, I want to tell you something about a friend of ours, a friend of the show, Chris Buckingham from the Ink Master. He's got a new shop that he's opening up. It's called the Lucky Gypsy Tattoo. You can follow him on social media at Lucky Gypsy Tattoo. They're doing a grand opening event on Halloween, actually, the day of Halloween. They're going to do $100 tattoos, a limited number of them, and all the money is going to. Yeah, I know. Right? They'll have a line around.
100-ish, 5 to 7.
Ink Master, $100. Oh my God, I'll have 1,000 people.
I want
over
a full back tat.
So they're doing $100 tattoos, but it's for a great cause. It's all going to charity, and it's for their grand opening. It's going to the Ask Foundation. That's a childhood cancer foundation. Mm-hmm. So hopefully they make a lot of money. I hope you guys support them too. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you can't get down to Midlothian, no.
Don't hand that to me.
How's
Don't
that
you
say?
hand that to
Midlothian.
Midlothian.
Yeah, Midlothian, Virginia.
Oh.
Hey, sorry, Christian. So Midlothian, Virginia. That's the Lucky Gypsy Tattoo. Stop in and see Christian. Go see the shop manager, Chris Gray. He's awesome too. And or anybody else who's working over there. They're a great bunch, and we just want to support with what they're doing, and hopefully you will too.
So don't forget to Google Lucky Gypsy Tattoo when you get to Virginia, because if you
That's
go
right.
off of us,
Yeah,
you're gonna get lost.
Yeah.
All right?
If you followed everything I just did, hopefully I did Christian.
Or just follow a
service.
friend. Physically follow a friend there.
So, listen, in honor of Halloween, we thought we'd have some fun today and just talk about some of the, the unexplained things, things that you may or may not believe in. And that's what makes them interesting, right? We'll talk about some stuff. And we have a guest here. I said your name wrong the first time. Let's try it again. Mike Familant.
there you go.
Mike Familant.
I like it.
And he has a show. It's called In the Shadow of Big Red Eye.
How's it going, guys?
Good,
How you
good.
doing,
Can you
Mike?
explain to us what is Big Red Eye?
So I'm a Bigfoot investigator, and what that means is we go out and look for this mythical folklore creature that may or may not exist.
Right.
And it has some different names throughout the country. So, like in Ohio, it's like the Grassman. Florida, skunk ape. But in Sussex County, where I'm from, up in North Jersey, it's Big Red Eye. And the story behind that was in 1972, a state park ranger came out and they saw. He came on record and said, he saw this pair of large 8-foot-tall glowing red eyes in the night, and he went on record, which is the coolest part about it, and that's how it got its name, Red Eye. And now the red eyes have been reported, all over the country. So it's kind of cool. We have a little piece of history up there in our little nook in Sussex County.
Are you sure that wasn't Red Man? You know what I mean? He smokes a lot of weed.
He's from.
so
You
he's from
remember
Jersey,
Red Man,
too.
the rapper? He's
say
he's
I
from
do.
Jersey too.
His eyes tend to be
And he
red
smokes a lot of
sometimes.
weed too. So, yeah. But no, so I did a little bit of research before you came, and I didn't realize this because I actually hadn't done enough research about Bigfoot and Yeti, right, and all those.
Yep.
And I found out that these sightings are not just in small areas. It's like, especially like in the U.S., it is from coast to coast.
Yeah.
You're talking Philippines. You're talking about and even like really, really cold regions. They have the one I don't know the other name that they use for it, but is the abominable snowman. Mm-hmm. These are all kind of linked together as far as like the belief that they might be similar or at least cousins of of each other.
Like I gotta say, I'm no expert at any
Right.
of this. Nobody is, because we don't know. We We don't know it exists. But anyways, I think that they're probably related, like cousins, like you said. That's kind of how I best describe them. Same way with like different regions of the U.S., how like the Florida Bigfoot are kind of smaller and smellier, where you have like the Ohio Bigfoots where they're more aggressive. I think they're probably not like brothers and sisters, but kind of like people, where we're all kind of connected somehow, but different personalities. So I think that's kind of how they go. I don't know though.
Well, listen, Chris, I got to say this. I mean, whether or not I believe, I don't have the evidence to believe, but I will tell you this. I hope that one day they find a Bigfoot. I think you probably agree with me there. That's guys, man. I want somebody to show me an alien. I want somebody to show me a Yeti. I want, I'm
gonna be honest, man.
I love it, man.
I'm not opposed. I'm not against or for. I'm very neutral. I'm one of those people like you know what it is. I've seen the government do so many things bad to the hood. I'm kind of open. You know what I mean? It can go either way. You know what I mean? Every time we think we elected the right person, wrong person. I feel like with a Bigfoot, it's like, is this a Bigfoot? Probably. I don't know. Is it one? I don't know. I got hairy cousins, and I also believe the one in Florida is just a dude. He's a Florida man. You know what I mean? He's a regular Florida. That's the only one I believe is a regular dude is the one in Florida. Everybody, all the other Bigfoots, I believe they could possibly be real.
The other thing that and I just mentioned it to you earlier, Mike, when you just got here was, that there are a lot of animals, even large animals, that people had said that they'd seen. It was, supposed to be a myth, right? The people who said it, it was crazy talk,
Yeah, yep.
And, that they actually end up finding these animals. One of them was, it's the Tap Anani orangutan. I don't know if you ever heard about that. But in 1939, I just looked this up today. In 1939, someone had said that they had seen this orangutan.
How did it look?
And,
got the red butt ones?
It actually was red. Yeah, it was like reddish brown color. Yeah. So, but it's a large animal, right? That's not a small animal. So, nobody believed them. They didn't believe that that this animal actually existed. So anyway, in 2017, it's only a couple of years ago, they end up finding out that this orangutan is a real animal. They found them, and they figured there's only about 800 of them in the world. Now, if there's only 800 people in the world, chances are you're not going to run into a person, right? I mean, let's be real here.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry about that, guys.
I didn't think about that.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's the truth. I mean, if someone ran across a person, and I'm not saying that I believe, I'm just trying to give it its respect. Is that it's a big world out there.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of places that you can't go. And if let's say there's only 500 Yetis, if they're real, chances are, you're not going to find one.
That honestly, now when you say it like that, I'm all in. But the thing is, something else will be said, I'll be all out again. That's why I stay neutral.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing too. Like, so there was this guy called the Hermit, North Pond Hermit, up in Maine, and when he was a kid, he decided, I think he was 19 or something. He was like, you know what, I don't like people anymore. I'm going to go and do my own thing, right? So he set up this base camp in Maine. So, desolate area, but he was 200 feet from the Appalachian Trail, okay? So people walk that, right? He was there for 30-something years, and nobody ever found him.
Wow.
He survived there.
Yeah.
He ate,
Well, he didn't want to be found either, so...
Well,
again,
absolutely.
What animal wants to be found? I mean, that's a human being who decided, I don't want to be found. And guess what? He wasn't found. I mean, nobody,
Right.
So it is possible.
You know what's funny? Growing up in the city, you don't realize how big the world is.
Oh yeah.
Until you drive across if you drive not across the country. If you drive from Jersey to New York, you realize how much space is just not being used.
And New York, upstate New York is vast. It's unbelievably, large. I mean, a lot of people who even live in in the city of New York have no idea how big and vast the area of New York is, or upstate New York.
So I have a question for you, Mike.
Sir.
You've gone on like hunts, and what is it called when you go out looking for Bigfoot?
Well, we call them expeditions and investigations. I don't like to call it hunts because I'm very anti-killing. I don't think that...
I agree.
That, depending on what it is, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a person or a monkey or what, But whatever it is, I don't think we should kill it because I don't think that if there are X amount of them in the world and you take one of them out, that I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. I don't like killing things anyway. But yeah, we call it like research expeditions. We're actually headed down to one now in West Virginia. We got this, and then a presentation. We're going to West Virginia, which is going to be awesome. It's in a very good area.
So what happens if you see one? Do y'all have like things to entrap it or something?
Well, no. That's a very good question. We have a lot of camera gear. So we have like thermal imaging cameras. We got trail cameras. That kind of technology. Drones we have. So anything that we could get without physically harming the thing. We're going to try to, audio recorders. I know you guys do a lot with audio and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the best way to get evidence is you have something that you get an audio recording, and I've gotten some really cool ones where you can sit down at a computer and analyze it and say, okay, this is why it's not a person, and this is why it's not any known animal.
I thought y'all had that string with the 2 balls on it.
Yeah.
Lock the feet up, you know what I mean?
Not a bad idea.
Yeah. Now, is this like, have you seen one or?
I don't know. People ask me that, and I say I don't know because I was down here actually in the Pine Barrens,
right?
And
I was there before.
Yeah,
maybe I saw you
a little further down that way. Yeah.
I was there very
Chris Scott taking a shit.
I was terrified. But the walk to the water.
You found yourself in the woods.
We were filming a sketch, and that was a location. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I was the only black guy, and I said I honestly don't want to go here. If I was with my homie Foley, and he was like, "Chris, I got you." I told you, I trust you because I'm going into the woods with white guys.
Yeah. You start thinking to yourself like, did they just lure me in here?
I was like, this is how every shitty movie starts.
And you did what the person who gets killed always does. They just follow somebody into the wrong
Why
place.
am I doing this? Why you die? But I've been in the Palm Bears, very creepy place.
Oh my god! Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
But yeah, we were doing a hike, and it was on one of these expeditions. So I knew what I was looking for, type of thing. And I was with my buddy Tom, and we were walking along this river that's down here, and it beautiful. It was rainy, it was nasty out. Nobody was there. When I say to you guys, nobody was there, you guys just like, oh, no one's probably in the area. But this, it was 40 degrees, rainy.
Right.
We were in the middle. We hiked in a mile just off this road that we parked in the middle of. Like
there's no reason for anybody to just be sitting behind a bush just to.
Yeah, right. And I can't rule out that nobody's there because I don't know.
Yeah.
But the chances are nobody was there.
Yeah.
And we were just walking, and maybe it was far ahead of us, but the river kind of turned, and my buddy's like, "Do you see that?" And I thought I saw what he was looking at. I thought I did. So I started taking. I didn't have my video camera. This is before I got into the show and everything. So I had my still digital camera, and I just started snapping photos. Snap, 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 snap. And I was like, I don't know. I think I see what he's talking about. Whatever. So we get back and we analyze everything. And here I am looking at all these pictures, rapid fire pictures that I took, and I see what I was seeing and what he was seeing, and it didn't move. It was like a bush or very pixelized, whatever it was. So I'm like, okay, even if that is something. So I keep on looking at these, and I'm, going back and forth. And on the other side of the picture, it's clear, it's pixelized, but you could see there's a shape that rises up from above a rock, is there for like 3 pictures, and then you could see it actually slowly moving down. And I don't know, that's
not going to be a tree or something. That's going to be
the thing is,
an animal.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I say I don't know if I've seen one, because that could very well easily be a deer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That can't prove out anything. But have I seen one? That's my experience. Have I captured one with evidence? Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've gotten footprints that we've sent off, and it's not a stamp. It's not a hoax. It's not a person. Yeah. It's not an animal. We were just
how big is a typical print, a Bigfoot?
Well, it depends. I mean, Bigfoots grow, obviously. So down in the Pine Barrens, it's actually really cool. Down here, I've found each year I come down here like once a year, and in this certain area, I find footprints that grow.
Wow.
So like bare footprints that they're like 2 inches bigger each year, which is cool. And then we've also found adult prints. This is from I brought a little gift for you guys. This is the Patterson-Gimlin.
Oh my gosh! Look at that thing.
It's a 3rd generation cast.
Dude. That's his foot. I mean, you can
that-
only guess what the rest is.
This
you know what I mean?
This is 16.5 inches. This is
Oh, my God.
This is like a female. This is the same
There
one
you
that
go.
was filmed, and
Take a shot of that.
yeah, and then
That's amazing.
yeah.
What is it? How long is that, probably?
I think it's
16.5.
16.5. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh,
Yeah.
16
That's
and
a
a half?
lot.
There you
Yeah.
go. Look at that thing.
That's too much foot.
Well,
Can I
and
keep this?
yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
I'll tell you what. I even was nice. I put it when I was making it. I put a little thing on the back so you can hang it
Oh,
right
yeah,
on the
there
wall.
you go. Yeah,
Right?
man, that's going on
Right
the
now,
wall.
it's sitting right on the table, in the middle of the table.
Look at that baby, boy. Oh, my
See,
gosh.
This is.
So that's the famous film, right?
Yeah.
That's the one that...
Correct. That's a third generation one,
Yeah.
so it's obviously not the original. It's not
Right,
the
right.
it's not the second one. It's the third one.
It's
I got that off a guy that had access to the first and second one.
Wow,
so.
man.
But what's cool about it is that so.
Imagine. Jeez, how big is that thing got to be?
But let's take a look for a second at the Patterson-Gimlin film because we know if that film is real. And I'm not an expert. I don't know if it's real or not. I have my opinions on it. But we all know
Right.
the one we're talking about, right? The one in California.
The Patterson
where
one is, if you're not sure what it is, yeah. So I remember what that is. That was the first one I saw, actually. It was very convincing. But now, people are trying to, really break it down. And, it may, I don't know, maybe it's been debunked. I have no idea. But, oh, man, I keep doing
Don't
it.
worry about it.
It's the one where, it's the really famous one. He's like walking by, a big log, and it's got that, elongated,
it's kind of the shaky one.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
old.
really.
You want to know why I think that there might be a Bigfoot, and why? And to be honest with you, is because it's become so commercialized that it's almost like the government's prepping us to be like, we got to show one.
Yeah,
eventually.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? I believe that every time same thing with aliens. I think that they're trying to popularize and make aliens less scary, so that way the day when they be like, look at my guy right here.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's an interesting viewpoint on it.
Yeah.
I've never heard that, but yeah, it's very, very well could be. I mean, there are stories, and again, I don't really get into the government conspiracy stuff and the cover-ups and everything. I don't. That's just not. I'm not a fan of that. But there are stories that the government does know about these, and they are covering them up and stuff like that. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, I don't like some stuff that the government covers up, but like stuff like Bigfoots and aliens and things that people the masses can't handle that much information. There, the masses can't. I hope that we want them to be able to. We want them to just be like, hey, if we just tell them that this exists, and they'll be like, hey, we cool with that.
Yeah.
They barely can handle black people, so I don't know how they'll be able to deal with a Bigfoot.
I know.
You know what I mean? Just out the blue, just like they create. It's just. I don't know. I think I'm a person who will be like, Bigfoot's in here. You know what I mean? I can move on. I'm like, and then if a Bigfoot had to work with me, I'd be like, I work with a Bigfoot now. You know what I mean? I'm cool with that. But I don't think a lot of people can handle that. You know?
And that's another good point too, is because if a Bigfoot, if they say they are found tomorrow, say we go down to West Virginia and I find one, and I call you guys up and be like, hey, come down to West Virginia. I just found one.
Right.
I want you guys to see it first, right? Mm-hmm. And then that gets taken on, and it's official, and DNA studied, and it is an actual new creature. Mm-hmm. You're going to have it's going to be the biggest discovery in the century.
Oh my gosh!
Hands down.
Yeah.
But not only that is now it's going to be an endangered species.
Mm-hmm.
That's straight off the bat because we don't know how many of them there are, and so that means protected land everywhere, especially in the Northwest and everything, and in Washington State. That's all logging areas out there. Logging's going to be shut down. So that's I think one of the big reasons why it's not known. If the government does know about it, and then not only that is you're going to have everybody and their fathers in the woods trying to hunt one of these things to have like a trophy kill,
right.
and that's people are going to get shot because what does a Bigfoot look like? A person in a ghillie suit.
Oh yeah, it's that is hunting for real. I mean most hunters are responsible, but let me tell you something. Poaching is real. I mean if anybody found out that there was a real animal like that. The first thing they want to do is just go kill them off. It's like turn them into
No, I don't get that.
Turn them into blankets and stuff.
Yeah,
Let's put them in a zoo. Let's catch them.
I don't know. It's been throughout time, really. I mean, it's not even a new phenomenon, right? If there's money to be made in something, like ivory, it's crazy, right? They would kill, kill the elephants. By just cutting off their tusks and let them suffer, and leave the dying animal and just cut their tusks off right there. I mean, it's unbelievable. But So there's some real truth to that. I mean, actually, if you knew that there was, a Yeti or a Bigfoot, I mean, I don't know, I might protect it. Not, want anybody to know.
He's protecting you mostly.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
You see these feet.
I know.
Well, and the cool thing that I've been doing this for a while, so I've talked to a lot of different people and witnesses and stuff, and the cool thing about talking to a witness, especially that one that is actually like can convey himself well, is they know it exists. You're not saying, oh yeah, if it exists. You're talking to somebody, and I'm like, I'll say for example, like, do you think they're in the area? And they just chuckle and they're like, yeah, I know they're here. Like
Yeah.
it's a matter of fact thing to them. The people that have actually saw things in the woods that are not supposed to be real, and
Yeah.
that's the weirdest thing. Imagine if you saw one. What kind of like position you would be in. I just saw something that is not supposed to exist.
Right.
That's got to get you thinking.
Yeah.
You know
For
what I
sure.
mean? Like, am I crazy? Did I
Right.
just see that? Is this like what is going on?
Now let's remind people where they can see your show in the
Yeah.
shadow of Big Red Eye.
Shadow Big Red Eye. We're filming our 4th season now, and it's all on my YouTube channel, which is Sussex County Bigfoot. We're all over social media, as you guys are. Facebook is in the Shadow of Big Red Eye, and Instagram is Shadow of Red Eye.
Yeah.
And, you could follow us there and everything. All the episodes are going to be out on our YouTube channel. So
I did catch one of your episodes. It was pretty interesting, to tell you the truth.
which one did you see?
I only got to see half of it because my kids came running in, and then the next thing you know, I had to put a cartoon on. But I'm not even sure which one it was. But there, it was a night. And, you had the night vision you guys were doing, and but I'll have to catch a little bit more of it. But I could tell that at the very least, it's got to be kind of fun to go out and do these expeditions.
It's funny because like people are like, why do you do this? And like you're crazy. Why do you do this? And I had something happen to me, which I guess we'll talk about in a little bit in Florida, that got me really into this Bigfoot thing. But now I do this, constantly. We go out every other weekend and go camping, and for me, it's camping on steroids. It's
Right.
it's I love camping now. I never was into camping, but now that I do this, I love the outdoors. I love survivalist stuff. I got into hiking.
That's not what you're into.
Yeah.
Not me.
Chris
No?
is not a survivalist, trust
Well,
me.
I want to survive, but I'm a survivalist.
You just want to depend on other
I'll
people
figure
to
out how
survive.
to survive, but I am not a fan of the outdoors. Like I'm okay. I mean, the outdoors is outdoors. We indoor. We hit a point in time where I don't gotta be outdoors. I'm cool with that.
Well,
Let the outdoors take care of itself.
nah, yeah.
But I respect the outdoors.
It's cool,
100%.
yeah, and and going bigfooting on top of this is like instead of going to sleep at night and telling ghost stories around a campfire, you actually go out and try to create your own encounter with something that and you're not even just looking for Bigfoot too, because you got to understand there's other animals
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
There's I can't tell you how many times I've overstepped on a skunk. Like that's not fun.
Check this out, the statistic that I just saw today, because I was doing a little bit of research before you came. It was saying that scientists say that there's 8.7 million. This blew my mind. 8.7 million species of animals, and only 14% of them have been found.
I mean, that makes
Isn't
sense
that
to
insane?
me. That's why I say when people say, Bigfoot, I say, can we say what doesn't exist, especially in the water? In general, the water is just a whole nother world. Yeah. Like, I mean, Aquaman's in there. They're doing something in the water. Like, the thing is so much space that we can't cover. There's things deep in the ground. The fact that just groundhogs and things like that exist lets you know that there's shit going on in the ground.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I mind my business. I'm not a curious person. I don't need to know what's happening.
Right.
When I'm not around, I'm cool with that. I'm not there.
You
But-
leave the expeditions then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If Bigfoot show up, I'm sorry. I respect your space. You own this house now. He just moved in. I'm cool.
Got a
You know
new
what I mean?
neighbor.
Look, I don't need to do that. I don't need to conquer anything. I don't need to take anything space.
Yeah. I just wanted to know that you existed. That's
we
it.
cool. And if I get the video, if it come out, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
But what's cool
But-
is you said something in there that you said something like it's impossible to prove that something doesn't exist.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
So,
Good point.
I think it was 2 days ago, they just discovered 2 new species of crayfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and they've been here.
That's another thing. 1,500 new species of animals are found every year.
Yeah.
That's an insane number,
And
right?
Granted,
but it's so true.
Granted, they're like small, little teeny things.
Well, it could be a microbe. It could be a bug. They found a new bird. They found a new moth and named it. Check this out. That's another. I just learned this stuff today. So
You're full of facts.
they found a new moth. And they named it, what was it? Donald Trumpy Donald Trumpy or something like that. Well, anyway, here's why. I don't know. It's a little bit off, but look up moth, and it's Donald Trumpy or Donald Trumpy. But anyway, the reason why is because this moth had a huge plume of blonde, what looks like blonde hair on the moth. And the funny thing is that, you think like they're being disrespectful by naming it. It totally looks like Trump. It's a brand new moth. They just found last year or the year before or something like that. I just saw it today because, like I said, I was doing some research about, because I do believe that, although I don't really believe in Yeti, I don't believe in Bigfoot. I don't know that you totally believe in it either, but you're on a quest to at least find out if people who have seen things actually have seen what they think.
Right.
And listen, it is important for people like you to exist because there are people that see things and they don't know what in the world, and they're alone. Listen, you see something, for the first time, you're alone. You don't know anyone else who to talk to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody to reach out to or whatever. So that's what's important about what you do.
I've had so many people that I've talked to swear me to secrecy when they try to, when they explain their encounters and stuff. And, they don't want any fame. They don't want their name. They don't, and that's
people
the cool
don't usually
part about
lie.
it.
People usually don't lie and then say, but don't tell anybody who I am.
Right.
Usually if someone's telling, they're looking for some personal gain, right? So, it's like, tell everybody who I am,
Right.
Let's let the calls come in, But, that's a much more believable person who says that they've seen something and they say, look, don't share this with anyone. I don't want any publicity. So
I have a thing. The reason why I don't know. I also, like I said, I don't disbelieve or believe anything. It's just like I said, I stay kind of neutral.
Yeah.
But I'm open to hear, and I'm also open to accept whatever comes about. You know what I mean? Hopefully, it's just not coming in violent. But if it was going to come in violent, it would have did it already.
You would think so. Yeah, you would think.
Wrecking shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just believe that a little bit the problem is with these animals and things like that, or that exist and they kind of go into hiding. Some of them just notice that people are awful.
Yeah.
And it's like we okay.
Yeah.
As a species, just like we talk to each other, they probably talking like they're intelligent enough to communicate to each other. That stay away from these,
right.
these
Yeah.
people. Like if you see this light coming, get away from it. You know what I mean? They'll put you. They see the circus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're throwing up light signals everywhere.
Yeah.
They get to looking like nah.
Right.
You know what
right.
I mean? Other scout animals are like, look, they already got us. Y'all
Yeah.
don't want to get involved with this.
Well,
you know what I mean?
and that's not even, you don't even take like a Bigfoot. That's any animal in the woods. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna come if you're walking in the middle of the woods. The chances that you come across like a mouse are slim.
Yeah.
And that's because they know you're coming. They're smart. This is their environment that they live in, and especially you put a little intelligence more so than a mouse or another animal on top of it. And you got like you and me in the woods. If I wanted to go in the woods, I could go outside the back of your house. There's a little bit of woods back there. You would never know I'm back there.
Yeah,
never.
True. You're right.
And you got to think of
If you don't want to be found.
If you think of it almost like a hierarchy in any other sense, kingdom, whatever, or even if you think of it just mob style, if it's a kingpin animal somewhere hanging out, you never have to meet him.
Yeah.
That's food brought to him. You know what I mean? If Bigfoot is hanging out somewhere, he got a little throne somewhere, made out of other animals probably.
Right. Nobody's going to dime him out.
Yeah,
nobody's going to snitch on Bigfoot, man.
You think they might try. That's what these other animals are probably trying to do. Yo, come follow me. Like, I don't
listen, if there really is a Bigfoot, he is definitely the king of the woods, right? So, nothing's messing with him.
A mouse get in your house. He's
They're like, we never saw.
Your cheese. What he's trying to do is tell you that Bigfoot is in the back right now. And you're just like, I got to kill you. He's like, no, I'm trying to warn y'all. But you just don't speak the same language.
Yeah.
We need a Dr. Doolittle. That's another thing. We need more Dr. Doolittles out there just talking to animals. If we can get one Dr. Doolittle, we can find Bigfoot.
I know, right? Yeah. They can all talk. They can all explain the world.
Follow me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're looking for the wrong thing. Instead of looking for a Bigfoot, we got to look for somebody who can talk to animals.
So you're going to be going to Franklin Township, right?
Yeah,
tonight?
That's tonight. Yep.
And so you have. So what are you going to do? You're going to talk to people about just all of your work and.
Well, yeah, it's it's weird because I'm new to doing these presentations,
Right.
which is cool. You know, I don't mind doing it. I love talking. And
Well, they'll be your favorite presentations. Trust me.
Yeah.
Your early ones for sure.
But and it's cool. Like I have a PowerPoint that I made, and I just kind of like an general overview of what I do, how I got into it, and stuff like that. And then of course the show, and then we have bloopers and stuff, which is part of the the show.
Yeah.
And then it's really cool because we go for like an hour or so, and afterwards is the part that I really look forward to, because then people come up to you and be like, oh, I saw this poster at the you guys have Wawa down here,
Yeah.
and my father's uncle saw a Bigfoot, and I got this cast in my basement. Like that kind of stuff is the coolest thing, because these people have never shared their stories.
Well, that's the
before.
quest that you're on too.
Yeah.
Or these, I mean, you really, that's the thing. You have to travel. You have to go to these places. Give people an opportunity to reach out to you. And like I said, there are so many people that have said that they've seen these. Mm-hmm. That again, you made a good point where you say, it's impossible to disprove it.
Right.
That's actually a pretty powerful point, right? I mean, I can't argue with that. So, there are so many times that, you could be skeptical. And listen, you're a skeptic, I think.
Of
even.
course.
It's like,
you have to.
But, obviously you believe people, and you're not making, so you don't look at it as if it's some kind of a joke. I mean, you believe that these people are, telling you something that they need help with finding or understanding.
For me, it's a numbers game. Okay,
Yeah.
we're not far from Atlantic City.
Yeah.
It's a numbers game. Okay, so you have 100% of people that say they saw something. Okay, 95% of that is going to be, let's say it's a hoax or a misidentification. Throw them
that's
out.
Easy, yeah.
Right, throw them out just because people don't understand. People don't know what they're saying. Okay, that's easy. Then you have, okay, well, what else is it? What else could it be? Is that 5% of people actually saw something that wasn't a hoax and wasn't a misidentification, and it's like, okay, now we start, really weeding out the variables here. What could it have been? Was it a person? Okay, maybe, but that would be a misidentification.
Right.
Every Native American tribe in the United States and North America, almost every single one, has a legend of a Bigfoot. But here's the cool part. It's not like the god of rain. It's not like Mother Earth. It's like, all right, so here's a story about a bear and it's chilling. Here's a story about the eagle, how they can fly. That's really cool. And then this Bigfoot comes around every once in a while. And then there's this chipmunk and mouse. That's how these stories are. It's not, they just speak of them as an actual the fact that they're there. And if anybody would know, it's the Native Americans. What's out there, right?
People, people in the bush.
Yeah.
That's why I think a lot of these like you said, discovering tribes and places where people are like, oh, dang, we didn't know they were there.
Right.
They stay hidden also because they understand technology moves forward. They know of the world. They just don't want to be a part of this. It's nonsense. A lot of it's like, we're happy. Civilization is thriving here. We're happy the way we are. We like being, quote unquote, out of the loop, if you want to say it like that. Also, I believe, like you said, with animals, same thing. But I also think that the reason why we don't, Bigfoots and other things like that in that world, in that realm, don't come and show themselves to most of the people in regular civilization is because they don't want the drama. That sounds so stupid, but it sounds so like, are they that aware? I think they are.
Yeah.
I think they are. And I also believe that
intelligent.
they go to like these tribes and things, they have a connection with them because whether they be allies or enemies, they have a connection.
Right.
From what I've gathered from most of the Bigfoot stories, they tend to be more allies.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to kind of watch out for these people. And like if things that are bigger than them kind of threaten them, they're kind of like, hey, no. These people are here. If they're not doing bad stuff to the land, I help them protect the land.
Yeah.
Do I believe could that be a thing? That's what I've always gathered as a kid. If it does exist, it serves a purpose.
Right.
And
Okay.
at one
I like
point,
that.
there were things traveling this world that humans couldn't truly deal with if they decided to lash out. Really, if lions decided to say, let's group up and just kill this whole tribe of people, they're done.
Yeah.
Right.
They're done. But why didn't they? Maybe something on the side was like, nah, man, don't mess with them. Like, who are you? I'm Bigfoot. Come on, man, chill out.
Right.
You know what I mean? They just here trying to eat like y'all trying to eat. Somebody had to be the go-between and diplomat. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
Yeah,
maybe I watched Zootopia.
Maybe a little bit.
You know what I mean? Maybe
Yeah,
I was too into Zootopia, and the movie was good, and you know what I mean? And too many Disney movies affected me. But I also believe that things communicate in their own way. If your 2 or 1 year old child can communicate with the baby for some reason,
you're right.
and you can't, how am I to think that animals can't speak on a different level in the plane than we can?
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah. So did you? I think you told me that did you tell me that like you had a rock thrown at you or something like that one time in the woods?
So this was back. We're gonna rewind back to 2011, right?
Right. Okay.
And
okay.
this is my first encounter with anything. First of all, this is my first ever camping experience. Never camped. I was always, as a child, inside video games. SOCOM, U.S. Navy SEALs was my game, and never outside. Okay, so I'm at work. I'm living in Florida. And I'm sitting there watching Finding Bigfoot on TV. I don't know if I could say that on here, but watching
why not? Yeah.
Watching this Bigfoot show that they don't find anything, and they were like, I was bored, so I went on the website. I was bored, whatever, and it said, "Oh, come out with us. You could pay money and come out with us." So I was engaged at the time, so I was like, I called up my ex-fiance. I was like, "Hey, we're going to go look for Bigfoot."
Right.
And she's like, "What are you talking about?"
Nah, bro, that ain't it.
But so anyways, we broke up, and I moved to Tampa. I was living in Sarasota. I moved up to Tampa, and these tickets are non-refundable, come to find out. So I paid a lot of money for non-refundable Bigfoot expedition tickets that now I'm living in Tampa, don't know anybody, and working on the ambulance. Okay,
Right.
So that's the story. So one of my partners, I worked with him for a couple times, and I thought he was kind of cool. So I was like, "Hey, listen, Jimmy, he's actually my best friend now. Jimmy, listen, man, here's what's going on. I got these tickets. Do you want to come with me up to North Florida and look for Bigfoot? Like, I know, And he's like, "Yeah, I've always wanted to do that." And I'm like, "What?" that's how I knew we were going to be best friends. So we get up there, and we're in the middle of nowhere, Georgia, like Florida, Georgia type of thing, middle of nowhere. We drove through a town that was for sale.
Oh my gosh.
The town. Yeah, you could buy the town.
That's terrifying, man.
Yeah, there's nobody there. Yeah.
That's scary in a weird way. It's scary.
Imagine if you owned a home in that town. So like people worry about the property value going down. It's like, I have no property value.
Can I just relinquish my mortgage and buy the town? No. I'm already locked in now.
But imagine being the mayor and just be like, "Yeah, it's not really working out. I think we're just going to call it quits."
Sell the whole shit back.
The mayor of the town that's for sale. Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
buy yourself, you say.
So we go up there, and we meet up with these other people. There's like 60 people there. So right off the bat, I'm like, "Oh man, we got to camp really far away from these people because they're out here looking for Bigfoot," not realizing that we were doing the exact same thing that they're doing. But I'm like, these people are going to be weird, right? We got to be. Yeah. They're not like us.
Yeah, I mean we're
cool. So we set up camp, far away from them, and we had our own little fire pit going and everything. And we did these. It was a 3-night trip, and it was great. We did these night hikes and everything. Nothing. We didn't have any evidence whatsoever. So, final night. It's Saturday night, and everybody leaves on Sunday, whatever. And they're all doing their own thing, and we're sitting. I'm really into astronomy, so we were watching a meteor shower. I was from Tampa. I haven't seen the stars in I don't know how long. So we were sitting there, little fire, watching this beautiful meteor shower. It's like 4:00 in the morning. Me and Jimmy are just talking, And all of a sudden, you hear a tree knock, which is supposedly what Bigfoot do. I don't know. Nobody's ever seen him do it, so I don't know if that's, But you hear this, bam! And it was, I was like, oh, that's weird, And here I am. We just paid $600 to go on this thing. I'm thinking we didn't get any evidence of Bigfoot, so I'm like, okay, these people that put on this thing are in the woods. So I was like, that's how people come back to it. That's how they get all these crazy people to come and keep spending $600 each time they come. And then I was like, okay, that's cool. And then the complete opposite way, bam, another tree knock. Maybe 30 seconds later, a minute later, I was like, wow, these people are pretty good. Like, first of all, it's 4:00 in the morning. They had to know we were up. The fire was going. Okay, I could see that, but that's legit. So then maybe 15 minutes go by, and a rock lands by about 10 feet, 15 feet away from us, and it lands by the fire, size, fist size, make a fist.
Yeah.
That's. And I was like, and you could hear it come through the trees.
Well, that is something that I had seen on the few, Bigfoot, shows that I'd seen, is that they do throw rocks at you.
Right. Well, and
No,
so keep in mind, this is the first time I've been camping, right? So I was scared. That was enough. I've had, my exposure to the woods, and we decided. Well, my buddy was like. He saw how scared I was. He's like, if you want to just sleep in the car, you could just go sleep. But by the time he said that, I had my tent, my sleeping bag, all in my arms, and I was running the car.
Yeah.
I was like, this is good. I'm good. But but then he was like, Mike, this is what Bigfoot do. That we might be actually getting evidence of Bigfoot, and I still think it's somebody. So I'm like, okay, let's humor me. Let's just sit out here. So over the course of like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 of these fist-sized rocks come. And what's interesting is we were camping up on the top. Say this is whatever. We were up on top. We were on a knoll thing and everything. There's a river down valleys on pretty much either side, especially where these rocks were coming from. So they weren't just being tossed out of the woods.
Right.
Like you could hear them project out. You could hear branches breaking and them coming down and landing.
Wow.
Yeah. So. That's what it scared me, and I'm like, man, these people are really got some balls on them.
Yeah, and they got an arm too. They're throwing rocks through.
I'm like,
through
I'm like, wow, but I'm still thinking it's somebody. Yeah. So, and then my buddy's like, this kept going on. My buddy's like, I got an idea. I'm gonna throw a rock back at it. And I said, I don't think that's a good idea because we gotta think now. It's either a person or a Bigfoot. We can rule out everything else. And if it's a person, you're going to hit the person. We don't want that. If it's a Bigfoot, you're probably going to piss it off. So both scenarios had a negative outcome. So he throws a rock, and he throws it. He couldn't even get close to the trees. Like this, like you could tell it was a person throwing it. And like 5 seconds later, and I swear a rock this big came out of the tree and landed. Same spot, 10 feet away from us.
Oh my gosh!
It was, and for those of you that can't see,
I would have hauled ass. Yeah, yeah.
It's
yeah. What do you
football
figure
size?
About
a little smaller than a football.
Oh my gosh!
And a big.
That's
big
a mini
softball.
boulder.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Honestly, that goes back to the theory I was saying. They might deal with small like tribes and stuff like that because they're out there respecting nature. You got these people out here with their cars, looking for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're not really respecting the trees. And I feel like there's just leave. We don't want you here.
Well,
it's like a whole group of people decided to set up a party behind your house
backyard
in Philly. Yeah, it's like you're going to throw something at them.
I don't want to hurt anybody. I just don't want y'all here.
Yeah.
Well, and I think now that I think back about it, like I think that's kind of what Bigfoot or whatever's throwing these rocks, I can't say it was a Bigfoot, but we were too close to whatever, to their family group or whatever they may have. Mm-hmm. That's why we got the activity, because remember, we set up far away from everybody else.
Right.
Nobody else got activity that night.
Yeah.
And I don't think they would have. If we set up next to them, I don't think we would have gotten any activity because they wouldn't want to, mess with a group of 60 people camping in the woods with guns and stuff, but 2 people that are a little bit closer, to where they sleep. If someone is in your house, you would be pissed.
Yeah.
And they to show how much of a threat y'all were too. It was a check. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, are y'all a threat? Are y'all here to harm? Or y'all here to just sleep?
Yeah.
If you're here to just sleep. You know
right. Why are you up at 4:00 in the morning?
Exactly. Yeah. What are you doing? Why do you have so much? Katy Perry playing. Like, they had questions.
Yeah.
Fireworks is a good song, but it's not right now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was Taylor Swift. But
that makes sense. At the time.
Taylor, if you're listening, you can write a song about me.
That's right. Oh, yeah. Well, that's what she does, man. You piss her off and she writes a song about you. You might have just made a good move right there.
Yeah, I know, right? Everything I do is for a reason, my friends.
That's right.
No,
that was very calculated.
A lot of people might say, man, it could have been. I agree with you. It could have been somebody, but also it could have been the latter, and it could have been Bigfoot. It could have been anything. But I think that this is, like I said, I have a weird respect for nature where I say nature has its space, we have ours. We usurped a lot of space from nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And considering that, I also believe there's the same way, just the same way in God bless you. In Jurassic Park, he says, nature finds a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A thing like this could be part of nature's way in certain places.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just what there are stories of tribes winning fights versus huge armies. Like, how did that happen? And you got one part of the story. Who knows what could have really? But also, animals get involved. Nature gets involved.
Yeah.
Things that just protects other things. Like, if you see a baby kitten literally in the city outside, all of a sudden it might become friends with raccoons.
Right.
Like, and to say that, like, because the raccoon's like, you're a kitten, I'm not going to let you die out here.
Yeah.
And I have a heart. I'm a raccoon with a heart. And next thing you know, becomes like a baby raccoon kitten. You know what I mean? If things can go that simple. And we look at things more complicated, but I believe that in the animal kingdom, things are a little more simpler sometimes. You know?
Yeah, I mean, kind of going off of that, there's, I don't know if you've heard of the series Missing 411 by David Paulies. It's a novel series, very cool, very, very, and he writes stories, well, he doesn't, he publishes stories regarding true stories about how people go missing in national parks, right? So, for example, I don't think this is in his book, but this is one of the ones that I researched because I was interested in it. There was like a two-year-old boy, right? He ran off. They were walking in the middle of the woods, him and his family. He, I guess, fell back, and they lost him, right? So they call 911. They get the search parties, the helicopters. Everybody, is grid searching this area. He's gone. Okay, he's gone for like a week. They can't find him. They call off the search because they're like, listen, the 2-year-old kid's not going to survive. Sorry,
Right.
And so everybody's thinking the worst. And then I don't know. I think it was like a week later they found him in the same area that he got lost in. That has been searched a million times. Right. The kid was not malnourished. Was fed. His shoes were clean.
Wow.
So that means he didn't walk.
Yeah.
He was warm. He was taken care of.
Wow.
What is that?
That-
You know what I mean?
that's crazy.
That
Nature
is
doing what nature does.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you should be dropping kids out and just hoping that
Yeah,
they
no,
let's-
take
yeah,
care of
let's-
them. Not at all.
Hey,
You know
listen.
what I mean?
Let's remind everybody who we're talking to. This is Mike Familant.
Family.
Mike, not confident.
Familant.
Yeah, Mike
Yeah.
Familant. I didn't say that, that bad. Remember, I'm from South Jersey. We were that's how we talk anyway. But anyway, so his show, you can check it out on YouTube. It's In the Shadow of Big Red Eye. It's all about the exploration of just looking for the possibility of whether or not Bigfoot actually does exist, and he's helping out folks who have seen something that they just need some help with finding out what it is.
Not kind of to broaden the scheme of things. Like, my show is into Bigfooting. It's into that's what we do on our show. I have made the show for one goal, and that's not to find Bigfoot. That's, again, the side process of it is great. It's fun, but the reason why I made the show is because, like myself, there's a lot of kids and a lot of people that are just so inside and so connected to their phones and their TV and their computers all the time. And people don't get outside anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point because it is something that look, you can make it your own expedition. You can make it something that you do.
If people don't want to look for Bigfoot, that's fine. That's another one of the reasons why I got into survivalist stuff.
Right.
You can go. People trail run. They hike. They fish. They do. There's so many things that you could do outside that nobody really does anymore because everybody's so connected all the time. Like when I look for a place to film our expeditions and to go look for a Bigfoot hotspot,
right?
I don't look for recent activity. I don't look for a history of sightings in the area. The one thing I do is I go on Verizon, because I have a Verizon cell phone, and look at the states, and I see, okay, I want to go to West Virginia. Let's see. This place doesn't have cell phone service. That's where I'm going to go.
That makes sense
Yeah.
to me.
Oh, it's amazing to get off the grid once in a while. I mean, to be honest with you, it does make you a little nervous. It's like,
Of course.
I've been to areas where I was completely off the grid. The phone doesn't work or anything like that. At first, you're like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna go? What am I gonna do? But then you get a few hours into it, you're like, you know what? I kind of like this phone not going off.
And especially nowadays, like the research suggests, like with people with depression and mental stuff, I'm no stranger to that kind of stuff. So people just going outside is so good
hard.
for.
It's hard sometimes.
It's hard, but mentally, like if you can get through that and you realize like crap, I don't got a cell phone, I can't call anybody. Like that's a lot. That's a lot to take in, a lot to handle. But just the fact that like the fresh air and stuff, breathing in that air releases things in your mind that science is just actually figuring out that it does. And it's so beneficial for every part of your body. And nobody does it anymore. That's why I think that's probably why everybody's so mad all the time, is because everybody's so, when I go on these Bigfoot expeditions, it's a vacation for me. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff to do. Like down in Virginia, I got witness after witness after witness, and this and this and this. We got to be here at certain times. That's just the way my mind works. Just but I'm not. I can relax. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could sit down outside and be like, this is why I do it. Yeah. It's
some of the most some of the most unhappy people are the people who can't get away from people once in a while.
Yeah.
And some of the most unhappy people are the ones who all their social media has got 1 million followers. Or they got it seems like they have so many friends and they have so much going on. I mean, you're right. I mean, getting away from everything and kind of rediscovering yourself.
Yeah.
Doing something that might have some physical activity and stuff. I mean, that's kind of a great message that you're that
it
you're
really
talking about.
yeah. And the show, what we do is we go to these areas and it's cool because we explore like natural things in the area, like waterfall, whatever we decide. But we also stop in town at some of these small like towns that are for sale. And we no, but like we'll stop in at like a local business and not only and we'll film it and put that on the show. That has nothing to do with Bigfooting or being outside or anything, but that's going to boost their economy. So if more people can go shop local and do that thing, then that's going to bring people to town. It's going to get people outside. The whole point of the show is not, like I said, it's not about Bigfooting. It's about getting in touch with yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to, just watching the show, you would have no idea that that's how deep it goes. But it does. There's definitely a message. If you keep watching, there's repetitive messages throughout the show that say, get back to your roots and relax and be good, be kind to each other. Like on every expedition, I make it a point to help somebody else. I try to do that every day.
Yeah.
But imagine if everybody just once a day helped somebody else. Mm-hmm. That'd be amazing.
It would be amazing. That's one of the reasons why, when we came into this, we wanted to have an open mind. I mean, again, we're not, believers. We haven't seen it. But again, the point you made is a fantastic point. I think I'm going to start using that, in my own life, which is that, you cannot disprove it. It's that simple. I mean, there's if you look at life in that way, if there's things that you can't disprove, you can't just,
and listen,
assume that it can't be.
One of the I throw up a quote on the beginning of each episode, and the one I just did, and this is a really really cool. I'm not exactly sure how it goes, but it says something along the lines of life with a Loch Ness monster and a Bigfoot is far superior to one without.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
and I agree
totally
with
true.
That I agree with 100%. And I say that because for some reason, as adults, the older you get, the less you want to become enamored with the possibility.
Yeah.
You know how many people, I'm a comedian. That's what I do for a living. You know how many people, and I do it all the time. After I get to know people for a while, if I go to, and they at the same job all the time, I always ask them, what did you want to do when you was a kid? And they say, well, I wanted to be, literally yesterday somebody said they wanted to be a meteorologist. I said, oh, you can still do that. They said, man, I'm already too far removed. I said, why? Why did you say that? Why? Are you alive? Yeah, so you can do it.
Right.
It's doable.
Yeah.
And some people say, well, that's, and I say this to people all the time, too. Oh, well, man, that's not how, I mean, realistically. Who's realistically? What realistic? How? And who's reality? Like, people get in this thing where it's like, in reality, you can't do that. So you're not living in your reality. You're living in someone else's. That's your main problem right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Your reality should be yours. If you don't control that reality, you're definitely living in someone else's.
Do you know how many people told me I couldn't do this?
Yeah.
And look at where I'm sitting right now.
Yeah. Well, that's what I
mean?
was going to say. Like, you're never going to do anything that everybody is going to be on your side.
Right.
There's always going to be. Listen, there are people that are hoping. Chris is every year getting further and further in his comedy career. He's been all over the place. So he's heading out to Chicago. What was that, in 2 weeks?
November 20th through the 25th.
And where's it going to be?
I'm headline at Zanies.
Zany's in Chicago, man. So check him out. But he's done everything. He's done Comedy Central. He's done Gotham City Live. I mean, you've been on MTV. All these things. But you know what? You would think that he's got all the support. But really, he's got very little support. He's got the support of his core friends and stuff, and then the people that don't know him. Mm-hmm. But then there's a lot of people who do know him that they're not rooting for him, or they think, this is just a pipe dream of his.
Right.
The same thing for you.
Absolutely.
It's easy to say, oh, Mike's just nuts. What Mike's doing is crazy, because they're disproving something that is impossible, to disprove. But it's easier to live life that way, right? I mean, it's a boring way to live life.
Yeah, one of the best quotes is. That's funny is from Jay-Z when he says, you don't know why he started so hard out the gate. He said his uncle told me he would never sell 1 million records. Mm-hmm. So he had to sell 1 million records.
Yeah.
Then once he sold 1 million records, his uncle was like, I didn't think that you couldn't sell 1 million records. I just knew I couldn't. So I assumed you couldn't.
Right.
And that's what mainly it is with people. Their reality doesn't tell them otherwise.
Right.
So, but if your reality does, then it doesn't matter. That's the one that matters, where you live. Because, I say that to my wife. She knows sometimes I go crazy with that. She's like, I can't do this because my job, and that's not how the world works. I says, that's where I will agree with you until you said that's not how the world works.
Right.
Because it's not about the world. It's about your world. You have your own world. That's, you know what I mean? So we agree. I agree with you. I agree that people every day should strive to make everybody better. And I love that concept of you going out and you functioning around. Hey, we're looking for Bigfoot, but honestly, we just want you to come outside.
Yeah, and make the best of it, right?
Yeah. One of my favorite shows is Forged in Fire. I love watching that. I mean, I believe, like I told him, I believe that if the world is going down, I'll be able to make an awful knife. I believe I can make one really bad, slightly functional knife. Or if I can find an old knife, I'll just sharpen it. That's really what I hope I can find a good butter knife. You know what I mean? but honestly, I love that concept of you spreading positivity through
anything
whatever
you do.
Like everything could be positive, or everything could be negative. Whatever you want to do, it's all about your outlook. Absolutely. So I appreciate it, and I hope that we find something. If you find something, just don't blow up their spot if you can. You know what I mean? Expose it enough that they know it exists, but not enough that they're like, goddamn, they got us.
Real quick before you get on to the next point, what do you have coming up? Is there? Other than this, where are you heading after? So again, let's tell everybody where you're heading. You're going to be in Franklin Township tonight at
Franklin Township
Franklin
tonight
Library.
At the library, Franklinville Library, and then right from there, we're staying at one of my buddy's house in Philly. We're going to go get some cheesesteaks.
Oh, where you want to get a cheesesteak?
I know.
I'm South Philly.
I told him to go right to
It's
Geno's.
going to either be Pat or Geno's.
No, let me tell you something.
Well, they're right next to each other, so that's great.
Let me give you a little hint. All right, I'm South Philly to the core, born and raised. And let me tell you one thing that South Philly people don't do is eat at Pat's and Geno's. Now, I'm going to direct you to where to go. If you want to get something that's still known and popular and famous, but a better steak,
not Tony
go to
Luke's?
Jim's. Go to Tony's is okay. Go to Jim's Steaks on South Street. Tony Luke's is good. Also, they're the two that if locals have to get a popular steak, but the best steak in the city, in my opinion, it's a little bit on the outskirts, not really directly in the city, is D'Alessandro's. Right in Manayunk.
You guys remember
D'Alessandro's? That's the cheesesteak.
Right.
That's a game-changing cheesesteak right there. I'm going to be honest, you're going to eat it, and you're going to just sit in your car for a while. If you eat it, you're just going to be like, that was ridiculous.
All right.
Did they send you a check or something?
Dude, I just know I'm not going to lie about a steak, bro. I can't do it. I can't lie about it.
Right.
I'm a South Philly dude. Everything inside me wants to say go to Gooey Louie's, but they're not the best steak in the city, and that hurts me to say that out loud. But it's the steak I grew up on. It is the best steak, one of the best steaks in South Philly. But it's not the best one in the city.
All right.
So that's where you got to head, man.
I guess that's where we're going.
Take it from the guy. He knows, man. He grew up there.
It's the place to go. But if you want to get a popular steak, Jim's is good, or on South Street, or like I said, Tony Luke's is a solid.
Okay.
Solid cheesesteak.
All right.
But I'm gonna tell you one thing: you're gonna waste your money going over to Jim's, Pat's and Geno's.
Pat's and Geno's,
and you're gonna have a little upset stomach.
Yeah, but see, real quick, though, the good thing.
Get a touristy steak. That's also nice.
Real quick, though, the good thing about Pat's and Geno's is that it's right down the road from the Italian market. So maybe you might not like a cheesesteak, but you can go down to the Italian market, get some good cheese and some lunch meats.
Pagano's is right down there. You can get a great sandwich. You can get a good pork, broccoli rind pork sandwich. You know what I mean? If you really want to go now, if you in South Philly, Nick's Roast Beef, that's also a good look, too. That's a South Philly place. I mean, when it's bad, that South Phillians always got to slide something from South Philly in there. So Nick's Roast Pork is also a good spot to go. So.
Well, But like I said, we're
Now that we got all the advertising for the show. out of the
Oh,
way.
dude, where'd I get the
like I
down
said,
from?
we're talking we're talking to Mike Familant. He has a show on YouTube. It's In the Shadow of Big Red Eye. It's all about finding Bigfoot if he actually exists and other things, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're interested in finding anything that somebody says they've seen.
I'm interested in experiencing something that I wouldn't see sitting on the couch. That's why I Bigfoot.
Yeah.
That's why I go out and do everything I do, is because I'm seeing something different. And let me tell you, I've been doing this Bigfooting thing. I've seen some amazing things. I bet from Maine to Florida, and it's some of the stuff that just the views and stuff is incredible.
Yeah.
And you could watch it on TV all you want, but until you hike that 10,000 foot Mount Washington.
People don't spend enough time outdoors, right?
Listen, I'm gonna drive from here back to Philly, and I'm happy with that.
I know, yeah. But speaking of that, I mean, we're getting close to running out of time here.
Yeah.
We're just about there now.
Yeah.
So, but
this was great, man.
I mean, we had a good time, Mike.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, man,
Thanks for coming out.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I thought this would be a fun one, and it certainly was.
We
tried with an open mind.
We didn't really keep it spooky for Halloween.
No,
but I
well,
guess,
I don't know about spookiness, but it is fun.
And
I got to hear about my views on animals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the kind raccoon cats.
That's right.
Raccoon kitten.
Well, again, hey, listen, go check out Mike's. Well, you have a website too, right?
No website yet.
Just
We're working
just
on it,
YouTube channel. Okay,
YouTube channel.
So-
Shadow of Big Red.
Yep.
Red
Shadow
Eye.
Big Red Eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to type in
In the Shadow of
Big Red.
Oh,
Trust
yeah,
me,
that's
trust
gonna
me,
be
you
a
don't want to
big
do it.
difference.
No.
In the Shadow of Big Red Eye.
Nope.
so it's In the Shadow of Big Red.
Eye.
And or Big Red Eye. Well, there you go. Let's try that again. Ready? It doesn't matter. We keep saying it over and over. We're going to really pound it into their head. In the Shadow of Big Red Eye. This is Mike Familant. And
listen,
he's going to be a friend of the show, I think.
Yeah.
We had a great time.
Through. We'll talk just regular. We'll talk about other stuff too. I like talking nature with you. You have a very old school Indian vibe, tribal thing going on, connection with nature, and I like that. People who respect nature, they always I can deal with that. But also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. So every time East Roast Podcast put up something, you ain't got to go searching. You know what I mean? We ain't like Bigfoot. We right there.
That's right.
Listen,
Yeah. We're not.
we right there. I want to come in your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So come hang out with us, man, and check us out on all social media and follow us.
Guys,
That's
thank
the
you
East
again.
Roast Podcast. Catch you later.